Good evening, folks. Welcome to the 66th episode of the Matias Sports Podcast. I have New England Football Journal contributor John Sapochetti. How are you, sir?
Good. You couldn't have waited three more episodes. That would have been episode number 69, huh?
I know. I've been at it for almost 2 years doing this. So 66 episodes in. Appreciate every single one of my guests, reoccurring guests as well. So
My favorite
before,
hockey player wore 66.
can I take a guess? Was it
Yeah.
Yarmir Yarger or no,
Wait a
not
minute.
Lemieux?
Mario
Yeah.
Lemieux, yeah.
I don't know. I
Number
was thinking Yarmir
66.
Yarmir Yarger. He's 68, so I don't know what the
Yeah, he
thinking.
should have been 69. That would have been the perfect number for him. I mean, that fit his motif. But yeah, Mario Lemieux is my favorite hockey player of all time. So you're going to hear all sorts of weird stuff coming out of my mouth as a 62-year-old guy from Boston that says Mario Lemieux is his favorite hockey player of all time. Yes, I did see Bobby Orr his entire career for the most part. I
Mhm.
saw Wayne Gretzky. They were all great, but Lemieux to me is the greatest player ever.
Absolutely. Yeah, Lemieux is one of the greatest, honestly. I mean, Gretzky, he doesn't have the record anymore. Ovechkin has it. He doesn't have championships to show for it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the floor is yours. You want to talk a little bit about your career, and then we can dive into football because I know you're a big football guy. So go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I started at a really young age, around 15 at Time Warner Cable, and I got hired at 16 as sports director for the local origination station, which actually was brought to about 12 to 15 different cities within a cluster in greater Boston. I did a weekly talk show from 8 to 9 every Monday night. I did sports updates during the week, did play by play for high school and college football, high school and college basketball, did Lynn Sailors baseball. They were a double A team of the Seattle Mariners back in 1980.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, I covered the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, the Red Sox. And, the show was pretty packed and it was kind of ahead of its time. We'd have guests come in all the time: Bob Ryan, Upton Bell, Bob Lobel,
Wow.
all the big medium stars back then.
Mhm.
Occasionally we'd have some players on, and we just grew from there. And then I started freelancing for ESPN in 1982, did that for about 10 years, then left the business for a while, came back, started doing radio around 20 years ago on a political station, 1510, which then became a sports station. I stayed on doing sports. Then I went to the Boston Herald, wrote columns there, did Boston Herald Radio, and I'm with John Serenitas over at New England Football Journal.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's a storied career. ESPN. I mean, I've watched that since I was a kid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
ESPN's ESPN. They started in
Yep,
1979. And
exactly. Yeah,
a quick little story about that. I interned under Bob Halloran at Channel 5.
sure.
Shout out Bob. Love that guy. He's a great guy.
Good man.
And
Yep.
and I guess he worked at ESPN back in the day too. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, shout out to him. He's a great author. He does it all. But no, going back to like your career, I mean, you've done it all. ESPN from radio to Herald. Now you're working with John Steradini. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. I love listening to you guys on the weekend. I mean, you guys are great. I'm trying to get John and Kevin on, hopefully after the season, after hopefully a Super Bowl run for the Patriots here. But
Yeah,
I'm trying
that'd
to
be
get
nice.
both of those guys on. I mean, I appreciate what they do. Their knowledge is amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
know John's always like, "Oh, what's Ken's contributing? He got nothing better else to do." No, I have a family. As you know, I have a family, so I like when he says that. It's funny, but it's definitely a great industry. It's so much changing though, John, unfortunately. So like people like myself or younger that wants to get into it or has a little taste of it, there's not many jobs out there, unfortunately. So any thoughts on that to, younger viewers that might be watching this in the future once I post it? Like any advice that you'd want to give like the younger generation of how to keep breaking in and keep kind of cracking at it?
Yeah, just do work. Do as much
Mhm.
work as you can. I had an intern that came to me at 15, 10, 13 years ago. Now he's a producer of the morning show in Providence, Tom
Wow.
Quinlan, who was my favorite intern of all time because from the moment he walked in the door, he just wanted to learn. He wanted
Hmm.
to work. He understood that he was going to have to put time in. A lot of interns come in and go, "Why can't I host the show?" I go, "Well, you got to kind of
Yeah,
put your
learn the
time in.
behind
You
the
just don't
scenes. Yeah.
show up and be, the star of the show or the host of the show, whatever that may be." So
Hmm.
just keep working, working, working. If you like writing, write, because that's where you can break through. But also, as you write, you formulate your opinions that you're going to use on radio. It makes you a clearer thinker. And I encourage everybody to write as much as they can. I just think it's a societal thing too, Ken, in that people are working multiple jobs now. The days
Hmm.
of I work for Merrill Lynch and I make $150,000 a year and they pay my benefits and everything's all set. Those days are dwindling. And now it's kind of like, well, I work a regular job that pays me X number of dollars, but get by to make ends meet, I also have to drive Lyft or Uber. And then,
Yep.
once a week I work at the deli down the street cutting cold cuts on Saturday. That's kind of like what we're doing now. It's like a lot of gig working conditions for people. And it's kind of sad. It used to be like my dad worked construction. He was a labor foreman for Perini Construction for as long as I can remember.
Yep.
I mean, he didn't also have to go do other things on weekends because they paid him a fair enough amount of money that, he could raise a family. Now it's like his student loans and weddings coming up. You have to put a lot of money away for the kids and all of those things that all of a sudden you're doing 3 different jobs, and that makes life difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. I mean, it just sucks to see people just nitpick at it, struggle, never get there. I mean,
Yep.
with my experience, I know we've talked in the past, when I first spoke to you on the phone, and it's just like, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's peanuts for money now. Now I mean, I'm glad John started this New England Football Journal with Kevin, and he has you and he has guys and kids contributing. It's a good little experience. I hear shout out from Joe Murray on the radio, like, hey, follow New England Football Journal. He's looking for guys, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's all great stuff for kids to do and people that want to get into it either at your age or have been in it or kids younger than me. It's just, I don't know. It's so evolving, John. I like run out of things to say because it kind of ticks me off. In other words, it's like, yeah, it'd be great to be on ESPN, but you don't start there. You start locally, unfortunately.
Right.
But,
Yep. Look at Kevin Burkhardt, who right now does play-by-play for Fox.
Lead guy
alongside Tom Brady. I got to know him a bit back during the 2018 World Series. He came on the show a few times. He is just as nice a guy as he is a great broadcaster. Yeah, but he started bartending, doing whatever, doing play-by-play on cable, just getting his reps in, and he continued to fight. That's what you have to do in this type of profession. It's a little different than, say, going to law school or medical school. There's kind of a roadmap to doing that. And again, as I've often said, the 100th best plumber in the greater Boston area is probably a millionaire. The 100th best sports writer in the Boston area is probably unemployed. So there's a difference in those types of industries.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy to think about that, from plumbing to writing, journalism, media. It's like a lot of internships. Sports Hub does internships. EI probably does it. I mean, a lot of young kids, you call whatever, you hear an intern. It's like, hey, that's good experience. Hopefully they're getting paid now. I mean, a lot of paid internships are great now. When I was doing them, I did my 2 internships for free. Looking back on it, great experience, especially at Channel 5. But working a Monday to Friday, 40-hour job, then driving up to Needham, 3 to 11, not getting paid, that was a little tough. I'll be honest with you. But
yeah, no, I mean,
I definitely enjoyed it, spending time with Bob. But what were you saying?
It's an interesting conversation because when I did it, but I started so young, so I didn't even really realize that. But finally, I got on the payroll at a young age as well. But yeah, I mean, it's tough to ask someone to come in and work for free. That's not really the way society is anymore. Back 40 years ago, 45 years ago, that was much more acceptable. But if you get that opportunity, make the best of it, because oftentimes it's all about timing in this business. You're there. And all of a sudden something opens and you're the person that the person is looking at and says, this person can fill in now and do the job because they've seen your work already, which is better than looking at someone's resume.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I appreciate your insights. I know you want to shift to football, so leave whatever you want to talk about. If it's Patriots, if it's Cincinnati Bengals, the NFL, the playoffs.
Well, anything. my Bengals aren't in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. They'll get there next year.
Unfortunately, yeah, they should.
I mean, I'm not really a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. So
okay.
Wherever he's playing, hopefully Minnesota or the Rams in 2 years, I'll be a big fan of those teams. But they have their issues. The ownership is cheap. They haven't been able to develop a really good defense. The offensive line, for the most part, has been weak. It got better the second half of the year, and you could see that he was having more time to throw. But he has to evolve, learning to get rid of the ball quicker so he doesn't get injured. I mean, he's had some catastrophic injuries in his career, but I think he's the best pure quarterback in football. In fact, I think by 2027, the discussion of who is the best quarterback in football will be between Joe Burrow and Drake May. I think it's going to be those two guys.
Wow.
Yeah, and the reason I say that, I mean, Josh Allen's great. Patrick Mahomes is great. Lamar Jackson. Those guys rely a lot on their legs. Drake May does rely on his legs as well. We see what he can do when he gets outside the pocket. And Burrow can move too. He doesn't choose to move, but he's had 2 touchdown runs in his career, one of 47 yards and one of 48 yards. So unless everybody left the field, he can motor if he has to. But those two guys, what I like so much about them is what they do inside the pocket. They're both fearless. They hold on to the ball sometimes a little too long. We'll probably talk about that with Drake May, but they always keep their head forward looking downfield. They know that when they deliver the ball at the right time, they're probably going to get hit. And that's something you can't teach. That's instinctual for a great quarterback. I think they're going to be the two best quarterbacks in football going forward, maybe as early as next year or by 2027. That's how high I'm on both of those guys.
That's crazy. I mean, to put Drake May with the Joe Burrow conversation, I know Joe Burrow's been to one Super Bowl, beat
Right.
the Chiefs. He's had a little, storied past already being in Cincinnati since 2020, the COVID NFL draft. But no, I mean, hopefully things will bounce back for Cincinnati. They got so much talent on that freaking team, but their defense, no offense, is atrocious.
Oh,
Trey Hendrickson, they went through a lot of stuff with him. It's just the ownership basically needs to pay these guys. I mean, you can't just have an all-star cast
yeah. What
on
they do is
offense.
they pay their top guys. I mean, Burrow's one of the highest paid quarterbacks.
Yep.
Jamar Chase, I think, is the highest paid wide receiver. T. Higgins makes a lot of money. The problem with them is they haven't been able to create depth through the draft. That's what you have to do. That's why the Philadelphia Eagles are always good. They pay their stars a lot of money too,
Yep.
as much as the Bengals, but they draft so well that they can fill out the other spots because of that. The other thing too is they're incredibly cheap in terms of the front office. Now, the Baltimore Ravens have 35 people in their scouting department. The Cleveland Browns have 31. The Cincinnati Bengals have 8.
Wow.
And, last year there was a pro day at Boston College. 31 of the 32 teams showed up to watch Boston College's pro day. The only team that didn't show up, the Cincinnati Bengals. And there were 2 guys that were drafted in the second round out of Boston College. Donovan Ezeraku, who had a great year as an edge rusher for the Cowboys, and Ozzie Trapillo, who was a starting left tackle for the Bears all year until he got injured in the wild card round. So those are 2 guys that they never saw. I mean, they could have still drafted them, but they didn't see them in person. Those 2 guys would have been better than the first 2 picks they had. So this is just cutting corners, being cheap. You're in an industry that's $1 billion industry per team. Spend money on things like scouting and development and all of those types of things, so that you can get the most out of the players and you get the most out of building a roster rather than just swinging and missing on draft picks. I think you look at the Patriots, a big turnaround this year was the draft they just had. Obviously, they added free agency, but they had a wonderful draft, and now you put that together with solid free agency, and you get a quick turnaround. And, of course, obviously, the improvement in the coaching staff led by Mike Vrabel and how much Drake May's grown this year is just unbelievable.
Oh, for sure. I mean, coaching goes a long way. They seen how they seen how 2024 was with Gerard Mayo and that clown show. No offense. Mayo was a hell of a player for us and might have won 1 or 2 Super Bowls. I mean, shout out to him. He was a hell of a player. But as a coach, it seems like he wasn't ready. And I know RKK kind of, or Mr. Kraft says, yeah, it's probably kind of a mistake I did that. They should have really hired Mike Vrabel. That should have been the coach in waiting. As soon as Belichick said, all right, we're going our separate ways, I believe he just got fired from Tennessee. And he was being with Cleveland in the front office or whatever the hell he was doing. He was a consultant, right? In 2024.
Yeah, what I love so much about Vrabel is I don't love that he got, it's a good thing for the Patriots. He got fired by the Titans. That's stupid to fire a top
got
5
the short
coach.
end of the stick there. But
he sure did. And then in 2024, what he decided to do, and look, Mike Vrabel could do TV. Yep. I think he'd be great at it. He's got a great personality, right? I mean, he's more Bill Parcells than Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So I would think that, he would do that and kind of take some time off. No, he went to Cleveland, worked in the front office, worked in scouting, worked on the offensive and defensive lines. He almost like he went to graduate school for a year. Yep. And he'd come back better as a coach now than when he was in Tennessee. And he was darn good at Tennessee, and we see what he's done with the Patriots this year. He's a top 5 coach in this league without question. He's a culture builder. The players love him, and just the way he handles himself is different than the way Bill Belichick handled himself. Now, players love Bill Belichick too because they won a lot. Those Super Bowl rings look nice, and he had a big to-do about why they won those Super Bowls along with Brady and all the players. It wasn't just a 2-man operation. But yeah, Vrabel, I was so impressed that he did that. That's someone who's so confident in themselves and so self-aware, says, you know what I need to do? I got to go back to school almost and kind of reteach myself some other aspects of football so I'm better prepared to be a great head coach. And that's what he is.
Yeah, talking about Vrabel, absolutely. Because, I mean, I was there the game that Tennessee came in here, Brady's last game, and they just beat us, was it 21-13? And then they just knocked us right out of the playoffs.
Yep.
That was that was the end of the dynasty. I'm like, this is over. It's over. Just
Mhm.
walking out of there was just like, damn, Vrabel, the former linebacker, 2, 3 time Super Bowl champ, whatever he was, came in here and just beat us with Logan Ryan on top of it all. And I'm like, wow, all right, more of a slap in the face, but no, shout out to Coach Vrabel. I mean, it's so much of a buy-in, John, too. Like, I love the buy-in when he got hired like a year ago now. He had his players buy in, or he went through the offseason program, drafted Will Campbell. I know that's another story for another time. I know he's had an up and down year, got hurt, short arms, whatever it is. I don't even care. But he just got his players to buy in. You sign Carlton Davis, you sign these guys, like veteran guys, you bring in Milton Williams for like 25, 27 million a year. It's just the culture he built here was should have been in 2024, not 2025. But I don't think if they had Mayo, and you could probably contest to this or you can agree, they wouldn't be in this position this year. They're lucky if they would have doubled their wins from a year ago. So
No, I love Gerard Mayo as a player. He seems like an
absolutely, I do too.
absolute
Mm-hmm.
leader, great guy, great family. But he wasn't ready to be head coach
Mm-hmm.
of an NFL team. Again, go back to Vrabel. When he retired, he went to Ohio State and was a
Yep.
linebacker coach there. Then he went to the Texans as a linebacker coach,
First
became the
NFL job.
defensive coordinator. Then he goes
Mm-hmm.
to Tennessee. Now he's ready to be a head coach. You can't just go from a positional coach who kind of handles the defensive meetings because Steve Belichick can't speak in front of a crowd,
Yeah.
which is what we heard. I mean, I think it's true, to becoming head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think he was ready. Hopefully, if Gerard Mayo wants to get back into coaching, he's a bright guy. He's done work in the financial industry.
Yep,
He doesn't need it, and he's also got, I think, 3 years left on his contract at $7 million a year. So he's not having any problem paying the bills for sure.
Yeah.
But he could go become a linebacker coach with another team, kind of get himself going in the right direction and
Mhm.
become a coordinator, and then you take a look at being a head coach, because there's a process to get there, and I think he skipped a couple of the steps and it came back to bite him. But again, when someone offers you 5 years, 35 million, you may think, geez, I'm really not prepared for this job, but geez, I can't turn that down.
No, who would turn down 1 million? Never
Right.
mind 6 or 7
Exactly.
being a
Yeah.
coach. So no, absolutely. And especially it goes back to that trip that they went and was it the Middle East? I don't know if it was Dubai, whatever. Like
They went to Israel with
Israel.
Robert Kraft. Yep.
That's what it was. Israel. I'm sorry. I should actually get my facts right.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, he promised them in what 2019 or whatever, like
Mhm.
towards the end of the dynasty, saying, "Hey, yeah, you're gonna be the coach and waiting after Bill's gone." So I mean, I wish him nothing but the best of luck. I hope he finds another NFL job, but he doesn't really need to work. I mean, if you still got another 3 years, just ride it out and then see how it goes. So
Yeah.
it's
Although,
funny. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, you want to remain in contact. I mean,
Yeah.
which I think maybe next year we'll see him back. Maybe we won't.
Yeah.
It's going to be his decision and decision of others, but he just wasn't ready for it.
I would. This might sound crazy. I know they did this in Denver. They brought Vance Joseph back from the head coach as the DC. I would love to bring him back on staff. I don't know if Vrabel has a relationship with him at all or talk to him.
Yeah,
I would love to.
I think they're better off not.
Yeah,
Only because now
because of the crapshoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're
Okay.
better off with what they have right now, and
Mhm.
then let him go. And I think what happens too is a lot of times you get very incestuous with this stuff. And so, like, Mayo played for the Patriots,
Mhm.
coach for the Patriots. Where Vrabel is different. First of all, he was drafted by the Steelers,
Yeah, it
came
wasn't
as a free
drafted by
agent,
us.
then went to Kansas City. Then he goes back to his alma mater to coach. Then he goes to the Texans to coach. Then he goes to Tennessee. So he's been around.
He
It's
has,
almost like
yeah.
the college kid that traveled Europe for the summer, has a
Mhm.
lot of really interesting experiences. So he has that. If you're just always here, and that's been part of the problem with some of these coaches out of the Belichick tree, is that they don't see any other way but the
Mhm.
way Belichick did things, so that when they go elsewhere, maybe they're not quite ready. I think Billy O'Brien did a good job at Houston because he had coached at Georgia Tech, and learned other ways to do things besides just bowing at the feet of Bill Belichick. Whereas Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia and a whole list of the Eric Bangini before he went to the Jets, they basically were all here.
No, absolutely. And I know you said Bill O'Brien was he? I thought he was at Penn State. Or did
He
he
went
get
to
a?
Penn State as well too. Yeah, first
Oh,
went
so
to
he
Penn
was at
State.
Georgia Tech too. I didn't know
Before
that.
yeah, he was
Oh,
at
I didn't
Georgia
know
Tech.
that. Okay.
Yep, way back with George O'Leary. I think that's where
Wow.
he and
Okay.
Doug Marrone became close friends.
hmm
And then he came here, and then after he did what he did here, which was outstanding as an offensive coordinator, He then went to Penn State, revived
Mhm.
that program after 2 years. Then went to Houston, and I think in 6 years they went to the playoffs 4 times. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he
They
had he
just
had a
were
winning record there.
unsuccessful. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
did.
then Deshaun Watson did Deshaun Watson things,
God,
and that
no.
kind of curtailed the whole franchise. And
Yeah.
now they're back again to being a contender. But then he went to BC. It's been a struggle
Mhm.
there, but to be successful in college football, you have to spend money, and I don't think BC's in that position, or they choose not to be, to
Yeah.
spend like say Indiana did to win a national championship. Ken, Indiana winning a national championship in college football would be like Penn State winning the NCAA men's basketball tournament. It just doesn't make
Yeah, it
sense.
doesn't make sense.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's shout out Indiana on beating Miami yesterday.
incredible,
Congratulations to them.
incredible. I mean, the most famous player that I can remember coming out of Indiana is Antoine Randall L., who's a wide
Oh my
receiver
God,
there
yes, I
in the early
remember that.
2000s. Yeah,
Yeah, he
went
was
to the
with Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Yep,
Yeah, he was a good player. I
he
think he
was.
threw a pass in the
Hmm.
Super Bowl to Hines Ward. Might have been a touchdown because Ben Roethlisberger in that 21-10 win over Seattle
Seattle. Damn, what a
probably was.
memory you have. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's
That's
a
awesome.
lot of stupid stuff. But if you remember, Ben Roethlisberger played poorly in that game.
That was his
Probably,
what, first, second year in the league?
yeah, second year
Yeah.
in the league. They got to the Super Bowl. He sucked. And I think that
He's
he really did. I mean, I've never been a big Ben Roethlisberger fan.
Big Ben.
Big Ben. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's just kind of, yeah, he's Big Ben. So I think that Ben Roethlisberger in that Super Bowl is probably the worst performance by a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's why when we talk about winning and losing Super Bowls, okay, so Ben Roethlisberger won a Super Bowl by being god awful.
Yeah.
Tom Brady threw for 505 yards and lost the Super Bowl.
I
So,
know, against Philly.
there's some room for
Crazy.
nuance in there, isn't there?
Hmm. No, absolutely. And I know we're all over the place, and I love talking football too. So this is great. I don't mind jumping around. But going back to the original point, what was it Vrabel and the buy-in? God.
Yeah. Yep.
No, just talking about their season being 14-3 and having the chance to be the number one seed in the AFC. That was amazing. Like, I never would have thought that heading into 2025, we'd be sitting in this position one game away from the Super Bowl.
No,
Like,
and they started 1-2.
I know. To
Right?
bounce back 14-3, like,
And in game 4, they were down 6-0 to Carolina
I know what a
early in
crap
that
game
game.
that
And then
was.
Marcus Jones,
Mhm.
I think, had one of the biggest plays of the season, the punt return that put them
Yep.
ahead, and they haven't looked back
Switched
since.
the
But they
game.
started 1-2.
That's crazy. First one in Miami.
Yep.
And then they wanted to end it with Miami too here, and it was just a
Yep.
blowout that Week 18 game. Then obviously May struggled this first game against LA, the Chargers, 16-3. Herbert didn't look that great. It's just the playoffs have been progressing. I know he's got to limit his fumbles. I think I've said it on you guys' show as well,
Mhm.
or whatever it was, one of the shows for New England Football Journal. But I was just basically saying, like, got to limit the turnover. It was probably the post game show, maybe. But anyways,
Mhm.
he's got to limit his fumbles. I mean, having what 13 fumbles in the season in 17 weeks. That's what more than one
Yeah,
one a week, really.
13 fumbles. I believe he's lost 8.
That's crazy.
In the playoffs, he's fumbled 6 times, lost 3.
Mm-hmm. Kind of batting
And
under 1,000 with his fumbles. And his
yeah, that's
turnovers,
not
but
what you want to see happen.
no,
And
absolutely
again,
not.
there's tons of reasons for it. I'm actually working on a story for New England Football Journal, like how they can try to correct it.
Mhm.
Again, quarterbacks evolve every single time they go on the field. Like they're even guys like Burrow and Mahomes and Allen and Jackson. I call them the big four because those are the 4 best quarterbacks in football because they've been around long enough now to establish
they
that.
have, yeah.
Obviously Drake May, I think, is going to join that group
Mhm.
sooner rather than later. But other top quarterbacks too. But they continually evolve. They get better every single year. In theory, look at Tom Brady. I mean, he mastered the sport by the time he was 40, which is just again, to compare anybody to Tom Brady is probably not fair to Brady or that person. But when you look at what all the quarterbacks have to learn to do is because he's always been the best athlete on the field. He could get away with maybe not having the best mechanics or losing a little concentration. Well, now he's not the best athlete on the field. There's guys like Will Anderson Jr. out there or whoever, and you have to kind of button things up, and he will. I think he'll be coached, and he'll do a much better job. I know when he came out, they talked about his hand size being a little small, but basically he's got to use his second hand to secure the ball, hold it closer to the chest so that when he gets hit, that he's be able to hold on to the football. And also when he climbs the pocket, sometimes he might get a little bit loose with it, and that's where they really can come in and strip sack you. But it is a concern because these games can turn in one turnover. They were fortunate that they played two quarterbacks that really struggled, and Justin Herbert and Stroud,
Stroud, yeah.
really both struggled. A lot of that had to do with the Patriots defense. Patriots defense is playing a very high level. If it continues to do so, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of his, I don't know if it was not a strip sack, whatever it was, he dropped back this past week. I don't know if he double clutched or he double pumped, and the ball just came out. So it's like, I don't know if he's just taking too much time sitting back there just to get the ball out to the guys, or it's just the pockets collapsing around him. Because I know Campbell's had his ups and downs. I know I heard, I don't know if it was Felger and Maz yesterday, whatever. Somebody might have called in and said, wow, Will Campbell walking back to the locker room. Vrabel had to kind of tap him on the chin or keep your head up or I'll talk to you. Like he pouted. Like, yeah, it sucks, but dude, you're in a freaking divisional game. Why are you pouting? I know you've been. I know
he's 22.
Yeah, he's a young kid. Yeah. I totally get it. Like emotions get the best of you, but don't pout.
No,
pout,
no.
I should say.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen. Yeah. And look, I'll bring up Burrow again because I think there's a lot of similarities between Drake May and Burrow. And again, Burrow, when he came out in 2020, the issue was small hands. What both of those guys do so well might lead to some turnovers. They both hang in the pocket like warriors. Like they're not going down. They're going to try to live for that play. Like they'll try to get the most out of it. They both have to learn maybe just check down a little bit so you're not getting slammed and you're not getting in a precarious position where you might lose the football. Again, that's all evolution of the quarterback position, but they're both similar in that sense. And that's why their teammates love them. They're willing to take a hit to complete a 25-yard in route to advance the ball. And the offensive linemen appreciate that so much, but you don't want to see the guys get hurt. And then again, you don't want to see them get strip sacked. That's obviously a big turnaround because interceptions are bad enough. Yeah. But not all interceptions are the same. I mean, he threw an interception at the end of the second quarter against Houston. I mean, it was a Hail Mary. It doesn't really matter to me because it was the last play of the half. But those strip sacks, now the team takes over. They get the ball sometimes deep in your own territory where it occurs. Oftentimes they can be picked up and run back for a touchdown. He even had a fumble against the Chargers where he lost 20 yards. So, you can't do that. That's really problematic. So that's the one area he has to clean up. But again, he's 23. He's learning. And I think we have to also remember that they pay those guys on the other side of the ball a lot of money, too, to make plays.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't looking too fond into like that Hail Mary interception. Yeah, they could have did a Borregales field goal. Chances probably would have been slim to none he would have made it, but you're only losing really 3 points. But
right.
Excuse me. I know you. I heard you both, Johns, you and John Saradina. Shout out, John. You guys have talked about the MVP debate. Like, what is your stand? I know Stafford's probably going to get it because they're both in the same round. Better numbers or better at least passing touchdown wise. I still think I'm not trying to be a homer and be biased. I still think May deserves it being in the second year in the league, I should say. But I know Stafford's been in the league since like 2009, and he's had a lot of tough years with Detroit. But I just wanted more of your thoughts on the MVP debate because I think it should go to May. Nothing against Stafford. I'm a Stafford guy too, but I think May is well deserved, even hypothetically if they lose this round, and I hope they don't.
So Stafford has thrown 15 more touchdowns.
That's what it's going to come down
May.
to.
Yeah, 46-31. That's a pretty wide margin. They both have 8 interceptions. May's completion percentage is higher, and the thing that I'm really impressed
that's a lot
with,
of short passes too, or checkdowns, really.
Well, he also is leading the league in average yards per attempt, which I think is pretty impressive when you can do both. It's almost like he's taking a lot of 3-pointers, but he's also shooting 45% from 3-point range. Yeah, it's like a Steph Curry type of thing. So that's what impresses me so much about Drake May. Yeah, and he went from 4-13 to 14-3. The Rams were considered contenders before the season started. He's got Devontae Adams, Puka Nakua. What is his name?
Puka Nakua.
Puka Nakua.
No problem.
Right. Puka Nakua. Yeah.
I know what you were talking about.
I'm reciting names from 1982 or 1882 in my case, and I can't remember Puka
I'm not going to get on your case. Don't worry.
Puka Nakua.
Yeah,
I'm going to be punished like I was in third grade. I'm going to have to write Puka Nakua like 1,000 times so I don't forget it next time. So you got 2 stud wide receivers. You've got, I think, the best coach in football, Sean McVay. Excellent offensive line, great running game, a bunch of tight ends. All of that stuff is nice. The reason I would support May slightly is that The last time a quarterback won an MVP without winning his division was 2003. Steve McNair with the Tennessee Titans.
R.I.P.
Now,
One of the best.
oh, great player.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he won that MVP, there's a couple of asterisks around that. First of all, he shared it
right?
with Peyton Manning. Yeah, they were co-MVPs. They played in the same division. They both went 12-4. It's that the Colts won in a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So technically, he tied for his division lead, and so they split the MVP. You can't split the MVP now because the voting is different. Back then, every MVP voter just had one vote.
So if this was 22, 23 years ago, they'd be
co-MVPs. It could possibly happen.
It could still happen. Yeah.
It'd be difficult because there's going to be some people that put Josh Allen ahead of one of them.
Yeah.
The guy I think should get some votes, maybe a fifth place vote, is Trent Williams, the big left tackle from San Francisco. When he plays, they're a completely different team.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're not going to give the left tackle an MVP.
No offense.
It would be difficult. He sure does. It'd be difficult to see a tie here. And then we saw what the all-pro voting was. It was Stafford 31, Drake May 18, and Josh Allen got one vote for first-team all-pro. Now, last year, Lamar Jackson was first-team all-pro, Josh Allen second-team all-pro, yet Josh Allen won MVP.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen very often. Last time it had happened was 87 when Elway won MVP over Joe Montana, despite Montana being first-team all-pro. But that was also a truncated season with the lockout strike, whatever. Most of the top players only played like 12 games that year. So that was kind of an anomaly as well. I think Stafford's going to win it because, again, he's 38. This could be his last year for all we know. If he wins the Super Bowl, he may just walk away. Yeah, he's a likable guy. But you can't say, oh, May's going to win it down the road because, look, Drew Brees never won an MVP, and we consider him an all-time great. I mean, it's not easy to win MVPs. Yeah, but it's not. I mean, my man Aaron Rodgers won 4 of them and could have won 6. He was that dominant during an
should have won period. More than one Super Bowl.
Absolutely,
how arrogant he is. No offense.
That's my guy. That's my quarterback emeritus. He's now my like the old guy that I still love and respect. I had to trade him in for younger. So that's the way I roll. I guess I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio.
You're recycling your old guys out and bringing in the new guys.
Yeah, I went with the blonde, blue-eyed guy. What can I tell you? But this is what it's like. I mean, Dan Marino in his second year went to the Super Bowl, won the MVP, set every passing record, never went back to the Super Bowl. I mean, it's Lamar Jackson has played in one AFC Championship game. We all agree he's a fabulous quarterback.
Absolutely.
And now this week, once Jarrett Stidham takes a snap on Sunday, he will have started as many AFC Championship games as Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen since 2021. So
yeah, Allen's been a 2, maybe?
He's been a 2, one in 2020, and then the one last year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he lost the 13-second game to Kansas City. I mean, he couldn't play any better than that. Probably should have fired Sean McDermott after that game.
I know. I can't. I mean, after 9 seasons, they just cut ties with him. But I mean, it was probably long overdue. They need a changeover in Buffalo. But no, I'm hoping May will win. But I got my gut feeling it's going to be Stafford. He's probably more deserving because, like you said, he's 38. Could be his last year if he wins the Super Bowl. Maybe he'll want to play till 40. Who knows? I mean, I know he's got wife and 3 girls at home, so he's definitely going to be more of a family guy. I don't want to be crippled and try to play with your kids at 40,
Yeah, he's made money. He can obviously do TV if he wants.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably maybe might get a Fox gig or an appearance here or there or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a, like most of the quarterbacks do well at that stuff, except for Joe Montana was god-awful.
Really?
And I loved Montana. I loved Montana. Growing up as a kid, that was my guy. I mean,
he was like
he was it.
Yeah, he was the best. That was the it guy.
Before Brady came along. And he did TV. I don't even think he finished the season. He was so bad. That wasn't for him.
Yeah, he tried.
He tried, but it just wasn't in his skill set. Winning Super Bowls, certainly in his skill set. So completely different thing. Dr. J, who, again, I'm going in the Wayback Machine, one of the most charismatic, great players of all time, did TV, was horrible. You just never know.
Yeah. It's not made for everybody. I mean, easy transition to be an athlete and then obviously go to a studio, but
I
mean, I still think athletes, they get the leg up on people, but give more normal people, no offense to the athletes, give them the jobs. They can do it. They can go to school for it.
Yeah. It's just you could sell the athletes a lot easier. And obviously.
Yeah, because you've been on the field, on the court, on the ice, on whatever surface you play on.
Yep.
But I totally get it. But seeing we're short on time, I know we jumbled around. I do want your predictions for this weekend for both games, starting with the Patriots Broncos. How do you see this playing out? And we just short on time. Yeah, that's all.
I think it's going to be a comfortable win by the Patriots. I'm
Mhm.
going to say 27-17.
Ooh, pretty good.
Solid
10
win,
points.
not a blow up, but a 10-point win. Their first two wins were what, by 13 and 12 points, so they've been in that range.
Yep.
Denver's offense is going to be challenged because they're not going to have their quarterback and they can't run the football.
Yep.
As far as the NFC, I've been on the Rams all year, so I think the Rams are going to go into Seattle and beat them. They should have beat them about 3-4 weeks ago. They had that game won. They were up 16 midway through the fourth, and they just did some horrible things on special teams, on defense, on offense, and they gave that game away in overtime. I think the 49ers win that one. I'm going to say 30-24.
Oh, the Rams, you mean? I know you said
The Rams,
49ers.
49ers,
they just had a shellacking by 35 points out there last week, which
well, bring them
I didn't
back
expect really, but I mean, obviously Seattle's a different spectrum this year. They're just I think they're Super Bowl bound. I hate to disagree with you, but I hope the Pats will win. I hope I'm going to pick the Pats. I don't know if I'll put a score on it, but pick the Pats. I'll probably pick Seattle. I mean, for the Pats and their, in their eyes, it's a Super Bowl rematch of the most recent Super Bowl you were in with LA. And then obviously you're going to go back to what Super Bowl was at 52-3, whatever it was with Seattle. Good old Marshawn Lynch should have given
Super Bowl 49.
49. That's what it was.
Still
the number.
Still the best game I've seen in probably 25 years. Yeah, it was a great game.
You're gonna put that over the Falcons comeback? That
as a pure football game. As a pure football game, yeah. Okay. I think there was more talent on the field. The Patriots hadn't won a Super Bowl for 9 years, and if they had lost to Seattle, then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, Brady's great, but he has 3 Super Bowls. He's lost 3. He hasn't broken through in a decade. Seattle was trying to repeat. They were much more interesting than Atlanta as far as characters, the coach, and the defense. To me, that's the most exciting, well-played game I've seen. I'd say it's the best game of this century. No, the Atlanta comeback was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But almost felt like one team just gagged it away as much as anything. Whereas with Seattle and the Patriots, it was just like blow after blow after blow. And then we see what Seattle does at the end when they probably should have given the ball to Marshawn Lynch.
Beast mode. Yeah, they should have. But no, just wrapping up here, just quick little thing. I mean, I've been a diehard Patriots fan my whole life, but I always root for Atlanta back to the Vic days. I don't stand for what happened off the field. I'm not going to talk about that because that's awful. But been an Atlanta fan probably since I was a kid too, basically, rooting for them. Then they got Matty Ice from BC. I'm like, dude, Atlanta. And then that Super Bowl, I'm like, I want the Patriots to win. Nothing against Atlanta, but if it was Atlanta versus anybody else, I'd be happy if they would have won. It was Buffalo, whoever the hell it was at the time. Obviously, Buffalo wasn't that great, but John, I really appreciate it. I know we kind of fast through everything in whatever 43 minutes I get here, but thank you so much.
No problem. Anytime.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this.
And I do have the Rams winning the NFC Championship game, not the 49ers.
So you got Rams, Patriots?
Rams, Patriots, Super Bowl. Then we'll discuss that at that point.
Patriots, but we'll see.
It's all rematches. Rematches. The Patriots have been there so many times. They could have been a rematch with the Bears. I mean, if that was the case.
That's crazy. Thank you again, John.
Anytime, Ken.